Hello, welcome to this video on public versus private access modifiers. So in this video, we're going to look at public fields. So far, we've just seen private fields. And we're going to look at the int data type versus the float data type. So let's get started. We're going to start by looking at the int versus float question. And we're going to do that by going into the coin script and thinking a little bit about what this coin script represents. And really, we can have two different types of things. We can have fields and we can have methods. And so fields are, or these are basically the two basic types of things. There can be more types of things. But for now, we're going to see fields and methods. Now, methods is coming in the next video. And so far, we've seen fields. And a field is a piece of information that belongs to this object. So a coin, for example, is going to have a piece of information called value, which is how much this coin is worth. But we don't only want to give this variable a name, that's value. We also want to say, is it private or is it public? And so we've only seen private so far. We're going to make this private again. And between these two things, between private and this name, we have to give a data type. Now for player speed, if I go back to movement, we said private float forward speed. So float is a number with decimals. Maybe I'll add a comment here, right? Float is I'll add it in the coin script, that float is a number with decimals. And we're going to use the int to say int is a number, is a whole number, int. And so that means that value can be 1 or 2 or 3 or a negative number or 0, but it can be 3.5. And that's just a decision that I have made for this value. If you want to make it be able to have decimals, that's up to you. I'm going to make this an int. So that's int. And so far we've made it private. And so if I go back to Unity and let it reload, we should see that the coin script looks exactly the same. So we don't have access to this field from the inspector. It's private. But we saw previously how I can add serialize field, and that allows us to actually, if I save it and reload, that actually allows us to change the value of this coin from the inspector. And so I could make this coin have a value of 5, and if I duplicate this coin by clicking in the hierarchy, doing Control D for duplicate, and moving it over, well, this coin can have a value of 10. So coin up here has a value of 5, and the other coin has a value of 10. And so those two values can be different, but every coin is going to have this private variable called value. So that's what we've seen so far, but what we would like to do is actually, when we hit a coin, we'd actually like to be able to access that value. So instead of debug.log coin, what if we tried to print, well, what the value of that coin is? So here's coin dot to access a field, and I'm going to write value. And let's see what the error says here, because it says we can't do this. What does it say? It says coin.value is inaccessible due to its protection level. So its protection is private. We said private means we can't access it from other scripts. If I change in coin, if I change this from serialized field private to be public and save that, then let's go to player collision. And if we let this update, we'll see that there's no more issue. Now we can actually print the value of a coin. So that's great. Let's go see when we run this, see if we see the value of that coin being printed. Okay, click on my player, drag it into this coin in the middle. I get 10 printed. I hit it a few times, so I get 10. And then here, if I hit the first coin, I get 5 printed. So we're actually accessing some information about those two coins now. So that's public. Now, the warning in this video is that a public variable makes code very difficult to find problems in, very difficult to debug when there are problems. For example, here, when I hit the coin, I can read it, but I can also say coin.value equals 100. I can change the value. I can set it. I can do anything I want to it because it's public. That's what public means. I can go and I can access it from anywhere and change it. And so let's see what this code actually, or what this game actually looks like now as I run it. If I click on my coin, this one has value of 5. The second one has a value of 10. And now if I press play and drag my player through this middle coin, I see 100 gets printed. And drag my player, again, just clicking on the first coin on the left here, says value is 5, but I move my player through here and the value is 100. And so really anywhere in all the code I've written, that value could be changing. And I'm not sure where it is. Well, right now I do know, but once I've been working on this for a few months, I might lose track of where that value is changing. And so setting a value directly by making it public is not a good practice. But for now, we're going to go with it, and in the next video, we will encapsulate this value using some methods. So your challenge for this video is to create a public field in the obstacle class, and that field is going to be called coin penalty. And when the player hits an obstacle, make sure that the coin penalty is displayed using debug.log, just to make sure that value is working. Okay, I'll let you pause the video and practice making this public field in obstacle. Okay, good job trying the challenge. So first of all, I'll clean up my my coin.value equals 100. We'll take that line out, so we'll just make sure we print the coin's value when we hit it. And now we'll do the same thing for obstacle, where instead of just printing that we hit an obstacle component, let's say obstacle dot, what did we say, coin penalty. And of course this field isn't defined yet, so we get this error. But if I go open up the obstacle class, I should be able to actually define that field. Now I could go back to Unity and open up the script from there, or I can find a capital O obstacle. I can right click on it and click go to definition, and it'll open up that class for me there. And now here, this is a temporarily open file. It's kind of on the side. If I click this little keep tab open button, it'll dock it over here with the rest of them. So that's just a little shortcut to get your file open. And we'll get rid of these default mono behavior methods, and let's define a public field. We'll make it an int called coin penalty. So I guess the idea here is that if I hit an obstacle, I might lose some coins. And if we go back to player collision, now coin penalty doesn't have any issue. So let's test this to make sure it works. Go to our obstacle, and I'll make coin penalty maybe just 1, very generous for now. Maybe later in the game it gets harder. And if I make my player collide with the obstacle, I see that 1 gets printed. So that's perfect. It looks like my public fields are working well. In the next video, we're going to see how we can use methods to make our code a little easier to debug and a little safer, so we don't encounter hard to solve issues later on. Okay, we will see you in the next video.